What if I told you that the crypto market could hit a new all-time high in the next couple of weeks? Well, the Chinese New Year festival is upon us, and as some of you may already know, this year will be the Year of the Dragon. Now, not only is this one of the most celebrated festivals globally, it's also historically had some major impacts on the market. Chinese New Year often turns out to be bullish for crypto, although the history is a little mixed. That's why today we'll be looking at this spectacular event and what it could mean for the crypto market. This is a video you won't want to miss. I'll start, of course, by saying that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's purely educational content that's intended to entertain and to assist you on your own crypto quest. And if you're looking to pick up some crypto to celebrate the Year of the Dragon, then you'll want to check out our Coin Bureau deals page. Over there, we have trading fee discounts of up to 60%, sign-up bonuses of up to $50,000 on some of the best exchanges, and great discounts on hardware wallets too. These are limited-time offers exclusively for you fine folks, so be sure to make use of them while you can. The link is below. So, with all that being said, let's start at the beginning. The origins of the Chinese New Year festival start with the fascinating tale of Ni Yen, whose name literally translates to year. Now, Ni Yen was a mythical beast that once terrorized the people of ancient China. And Ni Yen was truly horrifying, with a head resembling a flat-faced lion, the body of a dog, teeth like razors, and a long, sharp horn on its head. Ni Yen lived in the wilderness for most of the year, finding refuge under the sea or in the mountains. But on the last lunar day of every year, he would break into villages to feed on crops, livestock, and even people. Yikes. That is, until one silver-haired man bravely stood up to the ancient beast. He knew that Ni Yen was afraid of three things: fire, loud noises, and the colour red. Although other villagers remained fearful and hid away, the wise man dressed up in red and stood his ground, scaring Ni Yen away with the bright lights and loud bangs of firecrackers and drums. When the villagers came out from hiding, they saw the wise man still standing, and all their crops and livestock unaffected. Ni Yen had been defeated. So, from that day on, the villagers harnessed the power of these three new weapons to protect themselves from any future attacks. They hung up red lanterns, kept lights on, banged drums, set off firecrackers, and put up red banners outside their homes, upon which were written blessings and their wishes for the new year. Since then, this tradition has become a massive part of Chinese culture. The Chinese New Year festival, also known as Lunar New Year, is China's most important holiday and is celebrated by billions of people in China and elsewhere. And by the way, if you thought that story was fascinating, show it by smashing that like button. Now, just in case you were wondering, Chinese New Year and Lunar New Year are almost exactly the same thing, albeit that Chinese New Year focuses on more long-standing Chinese traditions. For the sake of simplicity, we'll continue to refer to this festival as Chinese New Year. Anyhow, Chinese New Year follows the lunar-solar Chinese calendar, which means that the date is ever-changing, but generally falls between the 21st of January and the 20th of February. The festival officially lasts for 15 days, with the Lantern Festival marking the final day of the celebration, although people can choose to celebrate for longer if they wish. This year, the Year of the Wood Dragon will fall on Saturday the 10th of February, with the Lantern Festival taking place on the 24th of February, a little later than normal. Chinese New Year's Eve involves the tradition of families gathering at a round table and enjoying a hefty feast. Families will then typically stay together for the duration of the holiday season. Because this time of year is so family-orientated, businesses will close their doors as people migrate from wherever they are in the world to be reunited with their loved ones. As a fun fact, this also happens to mark the largest annual human migration every single year. Just let that sink in. Now, the significance of the Chinese New Year festival goes much deeper than just an annual family tradition, however. There are some deep philosophical connections to many aspects of the traditions being followed. For instance, some of these specially observed traditions include the use of the colour red, which symbolises good fortune and happiness. Others include offering red envelopes to children to bless them with a peaceful new year. And people will set off firecrackers to sound out the old year and welcome in the new. Now, each year is named after one of 5 elements and one of 12 animals. These rotate on a cyclical basis, creating a zodiac calendar that's spread across a 60-year cycle. When combined, the different elements and animals collectively make up the Chinese zodiac signs. So, the elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. The animals, meanwhile, are the rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Now, for reference, 2022 saw the year of the water tiger, while 2023 was the year of the water rabbit. 2024 introduces wood as the new element and is the year of the wood dragon. 2025 will be the year of the wood snake. Now, each zodiac animal also has deep significance. The rabbit, for example, possesses a calm, polite, and intelligent nature, whereas monkeys are free-spirited conversationalists with a great sense of humour. And elements also have philosophical connotations. For instance, water represents responsiveness and persuasion, whereas fire is a symbol of passion and bursts of energy. In the case of this year's element, wood represents patience, vision, and growth. And this makes 2024, being the year of the wood dragon, an exciting prospect. In fact, for the Chinese, the dragon is one of the most desirable and exciting of all the animals, as it stands as a symbol of power, strength, and wealth, and is also believed to bring good luck. Sounds like the perfect recipe for just about any crypto investor out there. Now, this symbolism is felt worldwide because Chinese New Year isn't just celebrated in China. The festival is known to be observed globally, with parades, decorations, and parties being held in places such as India, Malaysia, Australia, the UK, and the US, to name but a few. And chances are you've likely seen this in your own town or city. A popular form of celebration involves the lion dance, which is when people use a costume that represents the mythical beast Niyan. And as a fun fact, it's estimated that around 1/5 of the global population celebrates Chinese New Year, and this celebration is also the largest global use of fireworks. The Chinese New Year festival is thus a spectacular time of year, filled with tradition and the prospect of hope, joy, and unity. But what does all of this have to do with crypto? Well, as it happens, China has one of the largest percentages of crypto traders in the world. Now, the population of China is around 1.4 billion people, accounting for about 17% of the global population. However, the Chinese government has consistently cracked down on crypto as an industry, repeatedly imposing sanctions on its users. Chinese authorities have been known to arrest, prosecute, and even jail people who work within the sector. It is worth noting, though, that China hasn't exactly banned crypto, as has often been reported. Rather, crypto holders there are subject to more strictures than elsewhere, but not outright prevented from using it. A fascinating article in CoinDesk recently discussed this and spoke to a number of Chinese crypto industry insiders. Quote, "Their general understanding was that it's not illegal for individuals to hold or trade crypto, but their activities would not be protected by law." So, Chinese authorities can't be said to be exactly pro-crypto, but reports of an outright ban are certainly inaccurate. Anyway, despite these strictures, China still makes up a big percentage of the global crypto market. Around 5.5% of China's population is estimated to be holding crypto, which a quick bit of maths will tell you is around 77 million people. For reference, it's estimated that around 1 billion people around the world actively use crypto in some way, shape, or form. This means that China accounts for around 7.7% of all crypto users, the largest national user percentage behind the US. And if these statistics weren't already crazy enough, a report from venture capital firm Kairos Ventures states that the amount of Chinese investors with more than half of their portfolio in crypto is over 88%. Wow. The report also notes that, along with Thai investors, the Chinese have the highest risk tolerance, as well as the highest profit expectations and the lowest levels of patience. Translation: the Chinese aren't afraid to YOLO into some seriously degen plays. It's safe to say, then, that many in China are big fans of all things crypto, despite the authorities repeatedly imposing crackdowns on the industry. More about all of that in the description. I digress. And Chinese investors are also known to have a particular fondness for ETH. As a fun fact, Vitalik Buterin is referred to as V-God in China, and he speaks fluent Mandarin.
所以我们这个方面我们还是有很多要改善。
Now, when it comes to the Chinese New Year, there are several reasons why it's considered to be bullish for crypto. And one of these reasons is an increased focus on the markets. You see, during the celebratory period, most businesses in China will shut up shop for around 2 weeks. This means that employees then have an additional luxury on their hands: time. This time can, and often does, get spent focusing more on other things, including crypto. And the sudden inflow of market attention often results in increased speculative buying. Another reason for Chinese New Year being bullish is a phenomenon known as the calendar effect. For reference, the calendar effect is when prices will move in a predictable way based on the time of year. Notable examples of this include the Santa Claus rally in December, the month of October, or the sell in May, go away principle. Historically, this time of year has seen the Chinese making investment decisions based on the zodiac sign index, something that investors have increasingly leaned on over the past few decades to try and determine outcomes in advance. Given that the year of the dragon represents strength, wealth, and good luck, there's a decent chance that this year could see increased levels of speculative retail investment. It is possible, however, that this event has already been priced in. This seems unlikely, though, given that BTC has gained a mere 1% or so since the start of the year, at least at the time of shooting this video. Now, to get a sense of just how much of an impact the Year of the Dragon could have on the crypto market, let's first analyse the last few years. We'll assess the price of BTC to get an overall view of the market, and then we'll use ETH as a proxy for the more risk-on altcoin market. We'll also look at the 2 weeks that lead up to the start of the Chinese New Year, as this will shine a light on any hype during the build-up. Okay, we'll start with 2020, which was the year of the metal rat. Now, rats are typically more risk-averse, are active among communities, and pay close attention to detail. In 2020, the Chinese New Year festival began on the 25th of January and finished on the 8th of February. During this time, BTC went up by 17% and ETH by 36%. The 2-week build-up was noticeably a lot tamer for BTC, which barely moved up a percentage point. ETH also saw some fairly modest gains of around 12%. Both of these being considerably steady, at least by crypto standards, make sense as 2020 was also a pre-bull market year. Also recall that rats are considered more risk-averse. Logically then, the following bull market year was expected to see much more impressive price action. And the year of the ox delivered just that. For reference, the ox represents diligence, courage, and an ability to anchor to something, which just about makes it the perfect animal for hodling. Now, the Chinese New Year of 2021 began on the 12th of February and finished on the 26th. During this time, BTC and ETH absolutely flew, with Bitcoin gaining 20% at one point before a large pullback that saw it drop down to a loss of around 3.5%. Oh, volatility, how we love you. ETH, on the other hand, had a bit of a rougher ride. From the start to the end of the Chinese New Year festival, ETH's price dropped by 19% after that sell-off. Before the pullback, however, ETH had gained 11% before plummeting. What's fascinating about 2021 is the 2-week build-up to the Chinese New Year itself, though. Both experienced a major bull rally, or rather ox rally in this instance, with BTC and ETH gaining 45% and 38% respectively. This just shows that speculative investors were pricing in what was to come, with the festival itself being a bit of a sell the news event. However, 2021 was also crypto's most parabolic year, which set the all-time high for Bitcoin at around 69k. If you went with the way of the ox this year and stuck with it from the start, you would have done very well indeed. However, as the saying goes, what goes up must come down, and this was exactly what happened in the bear market year of 2022. But just as Lambo dreams were fading away, the year of the tiger delivered something beautiful, a bear market rally. This could have been attributed to the tiger's courage, determination, engagement, and enthusiasm. Chinese New Year in 2022 began on the 1st of February and ended on the 15th. And despite this timeframe being within the falling prices of a bear market, BTC saw a gain of 15% and ETH a gain of 18%. At the highest point within this window, BTC had gained almost 20% and ETH 22%. The 2-week run-up was a lot less positive, however, with Bitcoin seeing a loss of 8% and Ethereum a loss of 13%. Ouch. This was to be expected, though. We were at the mercy of a bear market, after all. And that brings us to last year, the year of the rabbit. And this one may just be the animal that aligns most with market sentiment. Rabbits are optimistic but not very brave. They're imaginative and business savvy and can find positives in the most difficult of situations. From the beginning to the end of the Chinese New Year Festival 2023, BTC and ETH literally did not budge. There was a peak within this timeframe of 6% and 5% respectively. However, both saw a huge rally in the 2 weeks beforehand. BTC jumped by 34% and ETH by 28%. Now take a second to consider the overall year we had in 2023. Although it was considered by many to be a bear market year, 2023's price action actually showed signs of this optimism and perseverance. For perspective, the price of Bitcoin from the start to the end of last year went up by over 150%. The price of ETH, meanwhile, which notably has been lagging lately, still went up by 90%. Looks like the rabbits were right to hold on to that hope. Now, 2023 was considered an accumulation year as we prepared ourselves for the explosive moves of the impending bull market. Recall that the rabbit is business savvy but not brave, which you'll probably find somewhat relatable, especially if you've been following a DCA strategy. So that's the last few years covered, but what about 2024? How will the year of the wood dragon play out? Well, unfortunately, nobody here at the Coin Bureau has a crystal ball, and if they do, we really need to know about it. What we can do, however, is use the same analysis that we used for the past few years to try and determine how this year may pan out. So, with that said, let's remind ourselves of the characteristics of the dragon. Dragons are considered powerful, energetic, goal-oriented leaders. They're confident, ambitious, and wise. Occasionally, though, dragons are also adventurous, temperamental, and impulsive. From this alone, dragons already sound like they're hardwired for a successful year. Given that we're still in a pre-bull market year, 2024 is shaping up to be perhaps one of the most impressive in crypto's history. And dragons seem to be perfectly positioned to take full advantage. To use the same 2-week window we used for previous years, we can see that the build-up to the Chinese New Year of 2024 has been modest, to say the least, with BTC seeing a mere 6% gain and ETH 7%. Recall, however, that the last pre-bull market year we had was in 2020, which likewise saw very little movement before a more explosive move to the upside once the festival had started. And as the saying goes, history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. Using 2020 as a reference point may therefore help us to understand what's to come. That's simply because from the beginning to the end of the year, BTC saw a parabolic climb of over 300%, which then continued into April of 2021 before a major pullback. And as a crazy thought to consider, the rally between January 2020 and April 2021 saw Bitcoin's eye-watering climb from 7K to 63K, a 9x return. Now, whether or not the same thing happens again this year remains to be seen, but if Chinese investors are right and history does indeed rhyme, then we can compare the run-ups of both 2020 and 2024 to roughly determine future price movements. So, as a quick refresher, BTC saw less than a 1% gain, so it can't really be used as much of a comparison. ETH, on the other hand, saw a rally of 12% during the year of the rats build-up. So far, 2024 has seen BTC and ETH both gain around 6%, so half of that in 2020. This makes sense because large-cap cryptos like BTC and ETH tend to see diminishing returns in percentage terms with each passing cycle. The result is a reduction of volatility in the crypto market over time. This means that, logically, we can halve the gains of 2020 to guesstimate what will happen this year. I'll remind you that BTC gained 17% and ETH gained an impressive 36%. This foreshadows BTC gaining around 9% over the next few weeks and ETH seeing around 18%, which, given Ethereum's slow price action, would be a move welcomed by many. And as another reminder, the overall price of BTC rose by 300% in 2020, so logically, we can perhaps expect to see a 150% increase from today's prices. This would put Bitcoin at around $112,000 by the end of the year, and that is truly mind-blowing. And that's not all. There are a few other aspects of the crypto market that are likely to be successful this Chinese New Year. One crypto niche that could well see some crazy returns is meme coins, specifically those related to dragons or other aspects of the Chinese New Year festival. If you watched our recent video on meme coins, you'll know that key events can serve as rocket fuel for any tokens by association. I will reiterate, as I did there, however, that this isn't guaranteed and it's definitely not financial advice. And full disclosure, I bought a few dollars worth of a couple of dragon-themed meme coins myself to test this theory out. Coin Bureau Club members will know which ones. Coin Bureau Club, by the way, is our unique subscription service that covers numerous small to mid-cap altcoins and gives you insights and analysis that you won't find anywhere else. The link to that is below. Meanwhile, new projects launched during this time could also see a larger than normal wave of investment. This is simply because the year of the Wood Dragon is expected to be a time of visionary leaders, innovators, and problem solvers. According to an article from the Chinese Zodiac, quote, "Some of the most promising sectors for business growth in the Dragon Year 2024 are fintech, AI, cybersecurity, blockchain, and solar energy." With that in mind, it's highly likely that Chinese investors will see new projects as a ticket to the moon, especially if the teams behind them show signs of being innovators. Coins and tokens that are listed on Hong Kong exchanges could also do quite well. In case you weren't already aware, China's mainland and Hong Kong operate under a one country, two systems policy. This allows Hong Kong to operate using an independent legal system and a rather different way of life. And while mainland China has been dealing blow after blow to the crypto industry, Hong Kong has embraced it with open arms. In fact, a report from Bloomberg last year spoke about how Hong Kong wants to become a hub for the crypto sector. This goal was put in place in order to restore some of the city's battered reputation as a cutting-edge financial hub after years of tight restrictions during the pandemic. As a side note, this wouldn't be the first time that Hong Kong has opened the doors to crypto either. Earlier years have seen Hong Kong being the home of Crypto.com and the now disgraced FTX exchange. Anyway, if a project can get listed on an exchange that can service the citizens of Hong Kong, you can bet that Chinese investors will likely be all over it. As well as this, projects with a China-based team will likely see additional inflows of support from all around the world. So, the Chinese New Year festival will be a fascinating time to observe as we find out just how much fire the dragon has in its belly. Will the markets see a surge in speculative buying pressure, or will China's weakening economy make this less likely? Well, whatever the outcome, my friends, Long Yin Kwa Lo, Gong Si Fa Sai. And that's all for today's video, folks, so if you found it insightful, let us know by smashing that like button. If you want to see more educational crypto content, subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell. If you want to help others gain some insight into this particular topic, consider sharing this video with them. If you want some of the hottest crypto info delivered straight to your inbox, why not sign up to our free weekly newsletter? And if you want to find some of the best crypto swag around, then check out the Coin Bureau merch store. Link is in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Guy, signing off.